International Raceway. NASCAR Live with another update as we get closer to the chase for the NASCAR Nextel Cup. Scott Zipadelli looking at that 18 car. The fans outside the racetrack at a fever pitch, and so are we, because tonight about 11 o'clock we'll find out who will advance in that chase. You have to be in the top 10 or within 400 points of the leader. So let's take a look at the point standings. 7 through 15, separated by just a handful of points. Mark Martin has the tenuous spot there, that 10th and final transfer spot. He will start second tonight. Jamie McMurray, Labonte, Jarrett, Mayfield, and Harvick all need to have great runs, and they need to have somebody up in that top 5 have some bad luck. Now, let's take a look at last night's NASCAR Busch Series highlights. Kasey Kahne leads from the pole. It would be a physical race, a precursor of things to happen this evening. Jason Keller in the 22 gets loose. He gets hit from behind by David Stremme. Keller always runs good here, but not last night. 6 cautions of the night. Lap 146, the 55 of Robbie Gordon gets into the back of Tim Fedewa. Fedewa hard into the wall. Kasey Kahne pits then under caution, and that will give the lead up to Casey Atwood, who chooses not to pit. Now, Atwood would hold point, trying to win again and jumpstart his career. Mike McLaughlin, who will be in that 25 car, had a great run going. He'll be in that car the rest of the season. He wrecks. 8th caution of the night. Martin Truex Jr. battling hard with Casey Atwood. They rub. There goes Robbie Gordon on the bottom in the 55. And Robbie Gordon would motor home for his first career NASCAR Busch Series victory. So let's take a look at the results from last night's bump and grind affair. It was Robbie Gordon. Again, great showing for Casey Atwood. He continues to make a comeback. Actually, Kyle Busch there in the 5th position. He's battling Martin Truex Jr. for the point. Busch actually lost some ground. He's now 105 points behind Truex Jr., but it is still a 2-horse race for the NASCAR Busch Series Championship. Thanks for being with us. Jeremy Mayfield's team hard at work. More NASCAR Live throughout the afternoon here on Speed. A big day of speed for you.
When Yamaha set out to build the world's ultimate off-road vehicle, it had to have the greatest ground clearance.
Jack!
Independent front and rear suspension.
Jack!
Toughness.
He's tough.
And of course, seating for 2. The all-new Rhino 660 4-wheel drive from Yamaha. It's a whole new breed of off-road vehicle.
Celebrate too much? Not when it's this big. Happy 100th birthday to Haviland. Add more life to your car.
No, no, no way! How long have I been doing this job? I'll tell you how long. 2,000 years. 2,000 years of loyal service. My contract clearly stipulates that I, and only I, am responsible for controlling access to heaven and giving out wings. And now, well, just look at this. So it all counts for nothing. I'm surplus to requirements. The employment prospects for a 2,000-year-old doorman are less than great. Oh.
Advanced Auto Parts. No matter when or where.
It doesn't take a degree in engineering to know that your car needs regular oil and filter changes. That's why we're ready in advance with brand names you trust. Castrol, Valvoline, Pennzoil, all in stock at ready-to-go low prices. So bring it on. We're ready in advance.
For the best parts, people and price, we're ready in advance. Yeah, bring it on.
Let's see. What do you reckon we're going to want to be talking about on Monday night on the wind tunnel? Perhaps about the 10 drivers who will be in the chase for the Nextel Cup Championship? Bet on it. 10 o'clock Eastern.
back to Chicagoland Speedway, the ARCA Remax 200. The ARCA Remax Series working its way to the conclusion of a great 2004 season. Back on the super speedway here at Chicagoland. A mile and a half around this big place. Fast racetrack, Dan.
Really is. When something happens, stuff happens here.
Let's check in. Ken Stout.
Standing here next to Tim Steele, as you can see, the side of the 16 car had hammered pretty hard in that mayhem back there. You know, had a chance to talk to you before this race. I said, how do you like this track? And you said, every track better be your favorite track. I've got to ask you, is this place still your favorite track?
We're still here. It's still my favorite racetrack. You know, no matter where you go, when you get there, that better be your favorite racetrack or you're beat before you get there.
Talk to me about that wreck and what happened back there.
I guess I just went and joined one that was already started. You know, I thought I was going to get through it, and got clipped a little bit in the right front. I'm not real sure what happened there, and was spinning and thought it was going to be all right, and then another car came and hit me in the left front, and that kind of ended my day. But with everything I've been through, I'm just glad to get a chance to be able to come here and even wreck.
Well, it's good, guys. I mean, at least he has a smile on his face. He loves what he does, obviously. In fact, he said if they were in the hunt for the points, they'd actually try to fix this thing and get back out there. A lot of superficial damage. Maybe they bent a couple of ball joints, lower control arm, something like that. But other than that, the car really does not look all that bad underneath the hood. Guys?
Tim Steele.
Great attitude for Tim, I tell you, just to come back and feel that strong about it. Just a victim of the circumstance here today.
Let's check in with Don Radebaugh. Don?
Well, I was going to check in with Lee Leslie, if I could, the crew chief for Brent Sherman. Now, we know from Brent's conversation that the car is awesome. He has no complaints, but wouldn't this have been a good time to come down pit road for service? We haven't seen you yet down here.
Well, it would be, but with the way the race is going here and what's happening behind us, I want to stay out as long as I can.
So you're trying to stay ahead of a lot of trouble that we've seen so far.
We were going to come down with Frank and them, and it's probably a good thing that we missed it and didn't come down with Frank.
Yeah, it worked for him this time. We'll see if it works next time. They are showing the way at Chicagoland.
Well, what would you do now, Dan? I mean, you're out front. We've thinned the field out quite a bit. 43 laps are completed. We're almost on the verge of what was originally thought as the pit window, but we've done a lot of laps under yellow. Do you cough up the track position and come in now, or do you stay out and just stick to the plan?
Well, I tell you, I would really want to be in that pit window to come in here and pit, knowing that I'd have to come in and then come back in again, especially the problems we've been having out there with the few wrecks we've had. I think I'd stay out. I want to be in that pit window, so if we can't make that pit window under caution here, I believe I'd stay out.
Sherman, Passmore, Simcoe, Bell, Fike. That's your top five. We know for a fact that Sherman, Passmore, and Simcoe have not pitted. During that last caution, Eddie Sharp did bring the 42 car in with Chris Moore behind the wheel, so they had stayed out for quite a while. Now Chris has been serviced with his machine, and he's back out in 20th position.
Good car, good run for them there today. Eddie Sharp put together a great team, good race car, and look for good things out of him here in the future.
Absolutely, a former championship-winning crew chief with Bill Baird, and they're under the watchful eye of some big organizations, keeping an eye on that yellow 42. So if Chris Moore can do a good job here, we might be seeing a lot more of them in the near future.
Yep.
And that's really what's going on with a lot of these teams, and that's a big part of the pressure that's on a lot of these young drivers, that a lot of people paying attention, looking at the ARCA Series as a driver development division. All right, well, Frank Kimmel, we thought maybe we'd be doing a championship celebration, but it looks like we're going to have to wait till at least Salem. Ken?
Yeah, Frank, standing here, you had a chance to lock this deal up, and it would be your 6th championship. It's going to probably fall a little short here today. Talk to me about what happened.
Well, just a shame. The advanced auto parts car was really good. They got a little bit better on the long run at the beginning, and we was able to get back in the lead. And Bill made an adjustment there, I think, right after that, or during that pit stop, and I think it was going to really run then. And just was kind of caught up with somebody else's accident. I hate it for the 65 car. He just had an innocent spin, but started coming back down the track. I made the wrong decision and got into him. But what a shame for the advanced auto parts sport guys. Got a great race car, just messed up a little bit today.
Any chance of getting back in?
No, I don't think so. It knocked the oil pump belt off of it and stuff. I shut it off as soon as I saw the oil pressure was down, but it looks like the frames got over into everything in the front. So, no, not really. It's just one of those days. We'll get loaded up, go home, and you got to say wishes and prayers go out to all the 9/11 victims. Got to remember those guys today.
Well, they might have lost a battle, guys, but he's still in the hunt for the war.
Here's a look at all the names that are out of the race. Remember, we started with 41 drivers here today. Now, everybody you see listed there is out of the car and okay. We do know that. They've all gone to the care center for checkups, but everybody seems to be okay at this point. And we go back to green. That was pretty ragged. And we got a car smoking down into turn 1.
Oh, it's Ryan Hemphill.
And that's why it was probably pretty ragged. Hemphill having troubles. And he had fought his way up to 20th. And look at the damage to the nose of that car. That ain't going to work. So we're back under caution again. Our 6th of the day.
What a winning contender here today. Ryan Hemphill had such a great car. Great spirits before the race. Young and upcoming race driver. Look for great future out of Ryan Hemphill. And here's a look at what happened. Just on the restart, just gets piled up. Sometimes as that line gets further back, Ryan was towards the back there, and a few of them brake checked, and you get that speed up, and there's just nothing we can do.
Looked like the 20 of Ken Weaver.
You see cars diving to the inside, just somebody slowed down in front of the pack and just caused a chain reaction. Just a tough deal for Ryan Hemphill in the trim small Dodge.
He's got to go to pit road. It looked like maybe it was Ken Weaver out of Dallas and the number 20 that he was involved with. Yep, there's Weaver on pit road. Stay with us. We're coming back.
Hey, Mr. Rodriguez. Big game tonight, huh?
Hey, A-Rod. MVP, right? New York? Pressure? No sweat.
That's why SpeedStick 24/7 has patented sweat and odor fighters for maximum protection 24/7.
Whoa, A-Rod, gotta hit 80 homers!
For every New York minute of your 24-hour day, there's SpeedStick 24/7.
So, Alex, just one home run tonight?
Tough town.
SpeedStick 24/7. Maximum protection 24/7. By Menon.
Hey, Greg White here. On the next Two Wheel Tuesday, they're fun, they're inexpensive, and they're everywhere. Chinese-built motorcycles talked about, and something called Surfer Cross. That's Two Wheel Tuesday, 8 Eastern, 9 Pacific, only on Speed.
And we're... For every boxing legend, there's a legendary fight. The ultimate challenge, the ultimate risk. For these two champions, this is the one. De La Hoya versus Hopkins for the undisputed middleweight championship of the world. Saturday, September 18th, live on Events in Demand pay-per-view.
Order Boxing, De La Hoya versus Hopkins, live September 18th on Comcast. No one can beat me.
Yes, I can. I love to run, and it's not a problem. The hair goes with me when I run.
I would always wear a hat, even in the pool.
My tennis game has improved. I don't know, it just feels like I'm always acing the guy.
Hello, I'm Dr. John Parker. Hair loss is an all too common problem, but finally there's good news.
The Parker solution to hair loss?
No, I just saved a bunch of money on my car insurance by switching to Geico.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Well, if you're a tunnel head, make sure you tune in to Wind Tunnel Monday through Thursday, 10 p.m. Eastern Time with our good friend Dave Despain. Brian France, the head man of NASCAR, is going to be on there Tuesday night. Should be interesting. I'm sure Dave will have all the right questions for him. I'll vote for that.
Dave Despain for president.
What do you think?
I believe we have racetracks in every city. I know that.
You live in Florida. You probably don't even have a box to check, do you?
No, I may not when I go home.
Down there, Dave might end up being the winner. All right, let's check in with Ken.
Ryan Hemphill down here, and guys, he's checking out the damage to the right front of this car. I got to tell you, Ryan, you got off to a tough start right off the bat, man.
I don't know what to say. This has been a tremendously bad day for this Trim Spa Braun Racing team. The whole guys, all Braun Racing, brand new car out of in-house, and did an incredible job. All the guys worked really hard. Awesome Ernie Elliott horsepower. Just really bad luck. It's pretty crazy out there today. I don't know.
Tough break. He's definitely dejected, guys. We'll get him back out here. Let's go to Don.
He may be dejected, but Brent Sherman is not. The car is absolutely perfect. The Hickory Farms Serta Mattress Ford right side tires already on. Left side Hoosiers going on. No adjustments necessary. The 44 car working really, really well.
Christy Passmore pitted as well. You'll see her right there at the bottom of your screen. And that stop is taking way too much time. She's been having a great run, but it looks like they're having trouble with the left front. Now she's away. And Billy Venturini tucks in behind her.
A little trouble there on the left side. Fortunately, didn't lose any positions because the caution's still out. No more cars on pit road than there was. She didn't get hurt by that.
So the man who's chasing the Rookie of the Year title, TJ Bell, and the man that's chasing him in that battle, AJ Fike, are now 1 and 2. And there's Bell.
First and second right now. Great run for TJ Bell. Again, run second or third on the dirt there last week in the dirt races. Road racer history. We see AJ Fike with Andy Hillenberg, repaired automobile. Carl Wagner powered engines. Ray Farm Chevrolet, great run for both them guys here today.
Chevy White is up to third, and right behind them, there's Chevy, the 43.
Chevy's in a Dodge.
Yeah, and a blue one. And back in fourth place is Jennifer Jo Cobb. And what a great run this young lady's had here today. She came in as a provisional, started way at the back of the field, and she has worked that Monte Carlo all the way up to fourth place with good driving and smart pit stops.
Great run for her. Again, she did what she had to do, kept her nose clean, kept out of the wrecks. And there behind them, just a great run for both of them cars.
Well, for more on Jennifer, let's check in Don Rainbow.
I just wanted to add, let me also remind you that this is Jennifer Jo's, this is only her 5th career start. She was 9th at Kansas earlier this year. She came back at Nashville Super Speedway where she bested her 9th place run with a solid 7th there. So she has put out some very impressive numbers and continues to do so here today at Chicagoland in only her 5th career series start. Way to go, Jennifer Jo.
Yeah, and 7th in Nashville. She's got a little damage to the front nose there. She's an instructor for the Richard Petty Driving School when she's not actually racing. She hopes to maybe make the Busch Series race coming up at Kansas later this year, and this is the last official big show she's got on her calendar for this year. Started off as a pony stock driver at I-70 Speedway. So it's a small track, but boy, what a big small track it is to learn on.
Oh, it is. And this ARCA Re series is such a great series for a driver like her to come out here, get good exposure, have a good run here today, and she'll turn some heads.
Getting ready to go to green again. Back at it.
See TJ Bell in that Jeff McClure prepared automobile again. Road race background. He's done extremely well this year in the ARCA Re series, adapted well to these high-speed super speedways.
It's on Kyle Prislock from the 5-car coming through the field. He's in 9th.
Great run for them. For Kyle, he struggled a little bit. That's in the Hendricks car. They made some changes here before the race in the 5-car. Talked to Carl with that team, and he said they feel good about the race. Got that Hendricks horsepower underneath the hood. The Hendricks car, that appears to be an ex-Jeff Gordon car. Good race car he's got underneath him. So he uses his head here today. He can have a great finish.
Spent a lot of time talking with his dad, Steve Krisloff, earlier this weekend, and talking about the different things that he does right. This young man has a lot of aggression as far as how he approaches his driving skill. And Steve was saying how, you know, basically he is way far ahead. Oh, and Brent Sherman spins. The man who led quite a bit of this race early on, listed in 12th, is around for our 7th caution of the day.
Fortunately, spins around into the grass, doesn't get into the outside retaining wall, and that's the big destructor here. He's back underway.
Let's see if we can figure out what happened to the 44. Jason Jarrett giving us his view.
You see 2 cars ahead, just got loose on the outside all by himself. Possibly a tire going down, possibly the car made an adjustment and the car is just too loose.
Well, there's a tire down.
Could be both left side tires down. Possibly what happens is when you get turned around, you stand on the brake pedal, you flat spot these tires, you will blow them out. So we don't know if that happened before or after the wreck. There he sees as he comes off the corner, the car just gets loose and he drives down the bottom of the racetrack. Did everything he was supposed to as a race car driver, turn left, get the car on the bottom of the racetrack, then get it out of traffic's way and get it slowed down. He did a great job of holding on to that car.
Sometimes we see guys standing on the brakes, sometimes we see them stomping on the gas. How do you decide which one to do?
Well, it depends on which direction you're pointed.
Don?
In the 44 pit, and guess what? They sent him away with flat left side tires. I have no idea why. Maybe he's trying to obviously stay on the lead lap. That would make sense. But what doesn't make sense is he now enters back onto Chicagoland Speedway with flat left side tires. I've got to believe we'll see him again soon. Fortunately, we're still under caution.
Not sure that's a smart thing to do, because what happens is when the tires come apart, if as he makes his way around this 1.5-mile racetrack, if that tire comes apart, it'll tear the fender off the left front of that car, and then you have no aerodynamic downforce.
That's right. AJ Fike is on pit road. So is Chris Moore. We'll be back.
Francesca! Francesca!
Lisa! Hi! I thought I'd find you here. We found a buyer for your house. We got what we were hoping for. I couldn't wait to tell you.
Thanks.
Nobody works harder for you than RE/MAX. That's why nobody in the world sells more real estate.
Hey, there are two ways to look at skincare. The girl's way or the guy's way. Introducing Gillette Complete Moisturizer. It's not your girlfriend's moisturizer. It's made for men by the people who know a man's face best. It's got advanced skincare ingredients and SPF 15. You get smoother, healthy-looking skin in 14 days or your money back. It's time to face skincare like a man. Gillette Complete Moisturizer. The best a man can get.
A vehicle is the second largest investment most people will ever make. For friendly, helpful assistance in protecting your investment by making your vehicle last longer and perform better, visit the Federated Auto Parts store near you, where you'll find premium quality brand name parts and auto parts professionals ready to help you. That's Federated Auto Parts, home of the auto parts professionals.
Hey, I'm filming here.
TNT NASCAR 2004. New rules, new drama.
It's the race to the chase.
43 men enter.
Only a handful go for the cup.
You do the math.
10 races.
One big trophy.
And one big check.
What happens if you're number 11?
Do I really got to answer that?
The race to the chase is on TNT.
The race to the chase continues from Richmond, September 11th at 7 on TNT.
NASCAR is drama.
Jason Jarrett exits out of his pit stall and re-enters the ARCA Re-MAX 200 here at Chicagoland Speedway in Joliet, Illinois. Ralph Shaheen along with Dan Pardis up here in the booth, and down on pit road for us today, Don Radebaugh and Ken Stout.
When Yamaha set out to build the world's ultimate off-road vehicle, it had to have the greatest ground clearance.
Jack!
Independent front and rear suspension.
Jack!
Toughness.
He's tough.
And of course, seating for two. The all-new Rhino 660 four-wheel drive from Yamaha. It's a whole new breed of off-road vehicle.
Come on, lads! Call yourselves soccer players? You're a bunch of idiots! 5-0, it's only half-time!
Hey, easy, coach. You know what's missing?
Yeah! Talent, commitment, skill, discipline...
No, that's not it. Our defense is great, but we have no winger. Professore, dottore, maestro, you must listen to me.
Speak English!
We need wingers!
Look here, before the second half, we'll all drink Red Bull energy drink.
Why?
Because it gives you wings!
Where'd he go? I've been a hog farmer all my life, but I ain't never seen anything like these Fram air hogs. Yeah! Crazy critters, scaring the chickens. And the missus, too, to be honest. Mind you, folks can't wait to get their hands on them.
The Fram Air Hog High Performance Air Filter, designed to allow more airflow for increased acceleration and horsepower. They breathe in, you peel out. Fram Air Hog, hog the road.
You think you've seen it all, but you've never seen anything like this. Everybody was kung fu fighting. The Cup season premiere next week on Fox.
dream? That led to a philosophy. That led to a mission. Never stop learning. Never stop winning.
Don't be scared, son.
Ed, it's me! That house in the city just passed inspection, so you can close next week.
Wow.
I wanted to tell you in person.
Nobody works harder for you than RE/MAX. That's why nobody in the world sells more real estate.
Another man with too much time on his hands and not enough dirt under his fingernails. Save the tracksuit for a day at the track and adhere to the following fitness program. 1 household chore, 1 Miller High Life Light, and repeat.
Autoerotica. First, it's a legendary racing icon behind the headlights, Ferrari Barchetta. Then, Drive Shaft, monster trucks. It's all new Wednesdays, 8 Eastern, 9 Pacific, only on Speed.
Fuel your passion. 24/7. Speed. Tonight on Speed at 6:30, NASCAR's top pit reporters head-to-head, no holds barred. Pitbull Live. Then at 7, Speed News Saturday, and at 8 from the producers of American Muscle Car, TV's best car commercials. That's all tonight on Speed.
Hey, I'm filming here. TNT NASCAR 2004. New rules, new drama. It's the race to the chase. 43 men enter. Only a handful go for the cup. You do the math. 10 races. 1 big trophy. And 1 big check. What happens if you're number 11? Do I really got to answer that? The race to the chase is on TNT.
The race to the chase continues from Richmond, September 11th at 7 on TNT.
NASCAR is drama.
NASCAR Live, back with you at the Richmond International Raceway. We're closing in on the green flag for the Chevy Rock and Roll 400. Some lucky fans getting a pit tour down inside the racetrack. Hi, everybody. I'm Steve Burns. Glad you're with us. We're having some technical difficulties for the ARCA Re-MAX Series race in Chicagoland. We'll get you back there just as quickly as we can. Meanwhile, let's talk about the big battle that will take place tonight here under the lights. 10 drivers will leave here at the conclusion of the race in the chase for the NASCAR Nextel Cup. The points leader will have 5,050 points. Then it will drop in increments of 5, so they'll all be within 50 points. But first things first, I'll tell you the drivers who are locked in regardless of what happens tonight. They are Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Tony Stewart, Matt Kenseth. Elliott Sadler just needs to start the race, and we're sure he will, so he will qualify as well. Taking a look at those top 10, Mark Martin is the driver in the 10th position, but closely behind him are Jamie McMurray, Bobby Labonte, Dale Jarrett, Jeremy Mayfield, and Kevin Harvick as we take a look at the chase. Look, Kevin Harvick just 56 points out of that 10th position. He'll go for broke tonight. McMurray just 25 points out of that 10th position. Well, yesterday morning here at the Richmond International Raceway, drivers in the 10th through 14th positions got together to address the media to talk about the pressure in racing for this chase for the NASCAR Nextel Cup and whether or not they like this new scenario.
I think it's proved to create a lot of excitement. You know, we would, in years past, we would never be here having this press conference probably because it really didn't matter, you know, about the positions 8th through 15th at this time of year.
Right now, our business is we have to go out there and, you know, obviously finish, you know, finish in the top 5 to maybe have a chance at it. And if we don't do that, then we don't deserve to be there.
I mean, I think we all know we're going to have to be in the top 5, top 3 to get in this thing. So I'm just saying I'd just rather let's race and, you know, try to finish the thing in the top 3 or win the thing. And if you're out of the top 10, then you might be wondering what you got to do then to get up there, you know. But for us, it's just going to be we have to win the race or finish at least top 3 to even have a shot at it, and that's what we got to do.
Everybody's been running well, it seems like, from 8th to 15th in points every week. And so for us, I mean, we're in the same deal. Just, you know, go and try to win the race or at least try to run the top 5. And if you can do that, you'll probably make it in. If not, then you probably won't.
This has been by far more pressure than racing for the championship in 2002 with Tony at Homestead. But there's a lot more that rides on this than all that rode on that was the championship. You know, and I feel like that there's a lot more riding on the 6 car right now than there was in 2002, whether or not we won that championship.
Our approach, you know, we definitely want to go out and have a good night. You know, we need to get into the points racing mindset. We've been very fortunate to be in the top 5 in points throughout, you know, the later part of the chase here, and have been able just to focus on winning races. And we've experimented with some things that really haven't worked out at times, but we're back to the basics. It's time to points race. I think you've got a lot more to lose in a 10-race format than you do to gain, and you know, we're just going to do what we can to perform every week and take it from there.
And the experiments were over. Now, here's where your drivers who are trying to get inside that top 10 will start tonight. Flying Ryan Newman with the pole, the 23rd of his.
Back to green flag action here at Chicagoland, where Brent Sherman in the 44 continues to hold off Kyle Krisiloff. 134 laps, that's the distance. We're about 30 away from the checkered flag. Brent Sherman looking for that first ever ARCA win. Kyle Krisiloff, a big part of the Hendrick Motorsports development program.
Great run for them. Again, that's an ex-Winston Cup car, a 24 car. Jeff Gordon talking to that team earlier. They changed a lot, made a lot of changes before the race. Hope they went the right direction. And right now, it looks like they did the right thing.
In talking to Kyle's dad, Steve Krisiloff, the former IndyCar star, he said, you know, one of the biggest differences between where Kyle is at right now and where he was at this age is the quality of the equipment he gets to get into. These development programs have put these young drivers in tremendous equipment early on, but it also puts a huge amount of pressure on their shoulders, Dan, to perform right out.
Yes, it does. It's got good equipment, but I tell you, the biggest part, if a race car driver is a race car driver, he's got the equipment, he can get the job done.
Ken Stout with more.
You know, guys, Kyle's done a great job. He's racing for the win a couple times at ASA this year. But, you know, in talking to that young kid, he had so much, he was so calm. He said, you know what, I just want to go out here. I want to stay out of trouble. I want to stay out of trouble with the lap traffic cars. And if I do that, I think I can finish in the top 10. So he didn't set his goals too high, and here he's having a great run.
And one of the other things Steve told me about Kyle, the differences was, he said when he was younger and talking to other drivers, he said nobody would give him any good advice. In fact, he said one thing he found out is they were all lying to him because, of course, he was the competition. Here in a program like this, you've got so many people feeding you information that you have to feed it through your system yourself and learn from that. And that's one thing Kyle's gotten very good at, is on feedback to the crew on what to do to make that car better. Don Radeball.
And we should also point out that in only 2 series starts so far this year, he was 9th at Lake Erie. Actually, almost won the race. He was 2nd at Nashville. He hasn't been to victory lane yet, but this car has. This is the same car that Kyle Busch won victories in the ARCA Remax series here a couple, not at Chicagoland, but in this series 2 years ago. So we know the car can get the job done, and so far that 18-year-old driver is also getting the job done, doing a heck of a job here at Chicagoland.
Well, he's been racing for a lot of years. Began his racing career in a quarter midget, and they were all business when he was doing that. Some families approach quarter midget racing like Little League. You're out for the social aspect of it almost. And this young driver, he went at it as a step to this point. And he was as serious about his quarter midget racing as he is about his ARCA race.
Doing a great job out here today. Kyle is, and like I say, look for good things for him in the future and in his career. It's with a great program.
Back to third now. That's where we find T.J. Bell, looking to win the Rookie of the Year title and get his big win here today if he could pull it off.
They really need a good finish here today. They've had some bad luck through the years. He's a great racer. Got a road race background. Jeff McClure, crew chief on that car, has prepared that car. It's an ex-Andy Petrie, Bobby Hamilton car with Jeff Collins motor. Great program. Look for a good finish out of him here today.
They had a lot of motor problems, but the former Toyota Atlantic and Formula 2000 driver is worked through that. They seem to feel they got those motor problems worked out, Ken.
Yeah, well, exactly. You know, and he blew that thing up in practice, so those guys had to thrash pretty hard. Never raced here, but he did do a tire test here early on and got used to this track and did a great job.
And here comes Kyle Krislov inside of Brent Sherman.
He's been looking the last few laps, driving that car right to the bottom of the racetrack. He's been antsy about getting by Brent just to see if he's got what it takes. Again, it's so important to get the car out in open air because the front nose of that car sticks so much better when you get down in the corner when there's no car in front of you. And as you see, once he drove around Brent Sherman, he starts to really pull away from him.
But that's exactly the kind of things the Hendrick folks are looking for out of a driver. A driver who's going to bring the car home in one piece, be consistent all day, take advantage of the opportunities that are given to you, and almost most important of all, the patience factor of waiting to see that door open and then taking advantage of it.
You're exactly right. The most important, they're not looking, you don't have to go out and win every single race you're in. They're looking for a driver that's got talent, that's got patience, that can give some feedback to the crew chief. That's the young drivers that they're looking for. So they run them through these developmental programs to find these drivers. They do not have to win races all the time, but they have to see some talent in them. And that's what the purpose of that program is here today.
Could Brent Sherman maybe have used up his race car trying to keep Kyle Krislov behind him? Because now the 44 is dealing with the 08. It looks like T.J. Bell's closing in pretty quick.
It's a good possibility when you get a car like that close behind you and he gets around you. You sometimes have a tendency to overdrive the race car in the corner. Drive in a few more feet extra. What that does is that wears out your front tires and makes it hard on the car, and you start to back up. So you have to be careful not to overdrive the race car.
And that's going to be tough to do here because we talked about at the beginning of the broadcast how you have to drive the car in deep here.
Yes, you do, but there's a time and a place for it. Late in the race, these tires have got a lot of laps on them. They're not the tire that you started to run with. So late in the race, you have to be careful. You have to tiptoe. You have to be easy on the throttle, not to spin a tire. Don't abuse the tire.
There goes your top three. There's Christy Passmore. Christy still running in fourth.
Great run for Christy here today. Again, her father's holding the helm of that program, done a great job, and she's doing an awesome job here today at Chicago.
In her spare time, when she's not racing stock cars professionally, Christy loves to get on her Harley Davidson Fat Boy and go for a ride. She's having a great day today. 113 laps in the books, 20 to go.
There's Billy Venturini. Great finish for him today. They struggled, you know, at the beginning of this race. They really couldn't get a hold of the racetrack on practice. Talked to his father, Bill. He said, we just struggled. We can't get a hold of it. He said, but you know Billy. He said he's a good racer. He doesn't qualify that well. And he says, I look for good things for him during the race. Running that Dave Fuse chassis and them Shaver motors. They broke some valve springs in practice. He was real concerned with that motor for the race, but looks like things worked out. He did a gear change on that car. Looks like he made the right decision.
Behind Billy comes the 42 car. Chris Moore has done a nice job with that machine, moving them up to 6th position.
Chris done a great job. Eddie Sharp, the crew chief on that 42 car, done a great job here today. Good equipment, ex-Robert Yates cars. Just done a super job there for Chris.
Here's that battle for second again. Boy, Bell really turning the heat up on Sherman. 19 to go. 18 now as they cross the line. He closes in, then slips back on it. There's sixth place right there, the yellow 42. That's the next Robert Yates car that Elliott Sadler drove, and that's why it's yellow. The M&M's logos normally would be on that car, and Chris Moore driving that car and doing a fine job. And it looks like Eddie Sharp's got a pretty good call on pit lane today, and he has Chris up in the sixth place, Don.
He really does, doing a heck of a job from all rounds there. That is indeed an Elliott Sadler car. In fact, Elliott Sadler drove that car in the NASCAR Cup Series this year in 04, but yet they have a Penske motor in it, and a very good one, obviously. Chris Moore has made 3 starts in the ARCA Re Series. Way back in 2002, he finished 3rd at Toledo Speedway in his first start. He was 4th at Berlin, and his best super speedway finish was 4th at Lowe's Motor Speedway that same year. So in only 3 starts, he's shown that he can get the job done, and he's still showing it today at Chicagoland Speedway. And they've got some big meetings this weekend as well, so maybe we'll see more from them in the future. We saw that car last week at Toledo with Chris Serio behind the wheel. Obviously, it was a different chassis, but they will not be with us at Salem. Hopefully, they'll get some backing, and we'll see a lot more of them before they're done. 7th now belongs to Michael Simcoe in the 38. There's Mike.
Second generation driver. His father, Dave Simcoe. Best finishes, 6th at Salem, 6th at Toledo. Good racer. Great top 10 finish for him today if he can hold out to the end.
Behind him, the 11 car of A.J. Fike. Says he might actually be better at racing video games than actually driving.
Works with Andy Hillenberg there at the Fast Track Driving School. Carl Wagner Motors in that race car. Great horsepower underneath the hood. Great race car driver. Another top 10 great finish for him today if he can make it to lap 134.
Chevy White in the blue Dodge in the 43 runs in 9th. And behind Chevy, rounding out the top 10, we've been talking about the nice run that she's had all day, is Jennifer Cobb. As we've got a smoker on the bottom, and here comes Jennifer right there.
Great run for Jennifer. Then we see Mark Gibson right behind her.
She says to get herself fired up to go qualifying, she listens to AC/DC's Thunderstruck.
Always wondered if that would work, because I know when I get in my passenger car and ride down the road, I turn into an animal going down the interstate when I turn up little ZZ Top or Leonard Skinner or one of them.
That's Mark Gibson in the 59 running behind her in 11th. I asked her, well, what do you go racing with? She said, well, you know, qualifying's short and aggressive, so that's why she goes with the AC/DC. She said, need something a little bit longer. It's like maybe the whole side of Dark Side of the Moon then, or something like that. Don?
Just wanted to add to Mark Gibson, if I could. He makes his 278th career start here at Chicagoland. That's as much as Frank Kimball. And by the way, he wrecked in practice, got in someone else's oil a couple of days ago. They had to bring out their backup car. What is their backup car? It is their DuQuoin dirt car. This is it. They scrubbed the mud off, put the motor in it, and away they go. Mark has 4 series wins at Gateway, Texas Anderson, and Atlanta Motor Speedway. Been chasing this tour since about 1982. He is a series veteran for sure, and in a backup DuQuoin dirt car, not doing too awful bad here at Chicagoland Speedway.
No, I think Mark would be happy with a top 10 finish here today. Again, he's in his dirt car. They swap motors. He runs DEI engines. They put the engine in the car. They tested this car yesterday after he wrecked his primary car, and they went out and they had a motor that was down about 30 on horsepower, so they changed the motor last night, went to the DEI motor. He said, I got a motor with much more horsepower. If we can just get the car dialed in, get set up right on this car, we can get the Williams Brothers lumber car up front. Hopefully he can have a nice top 10 finish here today.
We're on board now with Jason Jarrett. Jason runs in 15th.
Tough day for Jason. Got in trouble there early. Had a good run going. I believe got in an altercation, had a tire go down, had to come in, got down a lap or so, and he's just back there riding around trying to finish the day out here at Chicagoland. Red Farmer, part of that team there. Red told me an interesting story there earlier. He's going to try and set a land speed record at Talladega here this week in a fire truck. That's right, a fire truck. A fire truck company called him and said, listen, we'd like to set a record in a fire truck, and we want you to drive it. We need somebody from Alabama, Alabama-based team. So Red said, I'll be setting a record next week in a fire truck at Talladega. I said, just tie the ladder down, baby.
With a fish hook on his hat, I'm sure.
That and a bow and arrow on the other side.
9 to go, and look at the battle brewing for the lead. Actually, for second now.
TJ Bell and Brent Sherman back and forth again. TJ's coming alive here towards the end of this run. We talked about Brent maybe using the tires up there earlier, and that's a good possibility. But he's hanging on in the top 3 there. We'll just have to see how he fares out.
Kyle Krisloff continues to lead, and he's opened up a healthy gap over these two. And Bell gets around Sherman to take over second.
Kyle with a great lead, 8 laps to go. TJ would really have to put his foot down to really catch up with him. So it's 1-2 there. Kyle's really got to handle the racetrack. It looks like we may be visiting him in victory lane. Brett Sherman announced just this week that he's going to do a 13-race push deal next year with Aikens Motorsports. Great move for him. It's so important for a driver to have a good run like this here today, a nice top 3 finish. It gives a driver confidence to move to the next level. If you're not running that good in one series and you move up to the next level, it makes it that much harder. But when you have a good run like he has here today, it makes it all that much easier to move on.
Boy, Christy Passmore now challenging Sherman. You got to think that he's used up those tires as she comes up trying the inside and fight for third here in the closing stages.
They both got to use their head here, both top 5 cars, not to battle too hard. You see Brent using his head there, letting her on by. He may battle back towards the end, the last few laps, but he knows he has used up some of the tires, so he did the smart thing and said, let me let this car by, move on, and get me a good top 5 out of it, and don't wreck the race car.
Well, the laps can't wind down quick enough for Brent Sherman now, can they? Because as he sees him starting to click off, the next car behind him is Billy Venturini, and that's 5th position.
Yep, he's got to stay in the gas, but he's got to use his head. If the car's sliding around, if it's a little bit loose, these race cars do not get any better. If you have a car that's a little bit loose, it's going to get worse and worse and worse as the run goes on, so you got to use your head.
Billy certainly has got a fast enough race car to catch him.
Billy knows that. Billy sees him falling back. Billy's spotter right now is talking to Billy and saying, hey, Brent's falling back. Just keep doing what you're doing. Pedal hard. You've got 5 laps to go. You're going to catch him in 2 or 3 laps. Just keep your head on your shoulder, and you can see that's exactly what he's doing.
I'm not so sure Chris Moore's not going to catch Brent Sherman, too, because Chris isn't that far back, and there's Chris. You can just see that yellow 42.
Yep, as he comes into the picture, you see that was a good lap for Brent Sherman. He had a good lap that run, but he has to be careful again not to use the race car up. Come out of here with a good top 5.
Here's Moore. You can see him coming, and it looks like Venturini's going to eventually get around him with enough laps left, I would think, to complete this pass.
4 laps to go, and again, Billy could be on the same tires that Brent is. They both have to be careful. Again, he has to be careful when he gets around him. He's got to get out in that open air to keep from scooting that nose in the corner.
Well, the one thing helping Brent Sherman right now is traffic, because that's not really giving Venturini an opportunity to get around easily.
Oh, you're exactly right. Traffic plays a big part. Again, you do not want to get up in that 2nd and 3rd group, especially this late in the game. Not a whole lot of garbage and tire rubber up on the top side of the racetrack. The tires are used up. You can get in the wall real easy.
Nothing has changed up front. Kyle Krisloff still leads. TJ Bell has tried to close zip a little bit. There's the gap, but still not enough.
Great.
Although he is reeling him in, but I think he's going to run out of laps here.
Great run for both them cars, although we did have a good corner there. As you see TJ really throw the car in the corner and got back on the gas. He may be saving that car for these last few laps.
We might just have a fight on our hands.
As a young driver, he could pressure him there. TJ knows that if he can get back on the back of Chris, put a little pressure on him, get him to wiggle a little bit and drive right by him. As you see, he's driving for everything he's got right now.
Here's the end of the racetrack where he really made up ground, was going into turn 3. And he does it again. Look at that.
Just drive. Yeah. He's so much better in the center of the corner. TJ can keep his car on the bottom. That's so important.
Well, and that's where he could get him at the win, too. I mean, that's where your last section of the racetrack is going to be, is we're on the white flag lap. If he gets a good run through 1 and 2 and can close up, Traffic could come into play down the back straightaway, but I'll tell you what, if TJ Bell gets through 3 and 4 like he did last time, he could win this thing.
He needs a good run down the back straightaway here. As you can see, he lost a little bit of ground, but he has to be careful. Don't overdrive that corner and wreck the race car.
I think he did in turn 2, and that's going to be the difference. He overdrove it, and Kyle Krisiloff is going to get the win. Kyle Krisiloff wins in Chicagoland at the ARCA Re 200. TJ Bell is second. Christy Passmore is third. Brent Sherman holds on for fourth. And Chris Moore beats Billy Venturini back for fifth. Stay with us. We'll be back after this.
When Yamaha set out to build the world's ultimate off-road vehicle, it had to have the greatest ground clearance. Jack! Independent front and rear suspension.
Jack!
Toughness.
He's tough.
And of course, seating for two. The all-new Rhino 660 four-wheel drive from Yamaha. It's a whole new breed of off-road vehicle.
Bam's Auto Parts. You know that your car needs regular oil and filter changes. That's why we're ready in advance with brands you trust at ready-to-go low prices. So bring it on.
We're ready in advance. Yeah, bring it on.
Hey, there are lots of shave gels, and they're all full of soap. And soap can leave your skin dry and irritated. Introducing Gillette Complete Multi-Gel, the only shave gel without soap, so it won't dry out your skin. Closeness, comfort, and skincare in one shave gel. Healthy-looking, smoother-feeling skin in 14 days or your money back. This is more than shave gel. This is skincare for a man. Gillette Complete Multi-Gel, the best a man can get.
Francesca! Francesca!
Lisa! Hi! I thought I'd find you here. We found a buyer for your house. We got what we were hoping for. I couldn't wait to tell you.
Thanks.
Nobody works harder for you than RE/MAX. That's why nobody in the world sells more real estate.
Fuel your passion. 24/7. Speed.
Speed Channel's coverage of the ARCA RE/MAX series is brought to you by RE/MAX, outstanding agents, outstanding results, and by Gladiator Garage Works. Gladiator Garage Works, official garage of ARCA, is proud to announce that the Gladiator of the race winner is Billy Venturini, and the number winner. Oh, down he goes.
And back up he is. Oh, man. I've never drank so much Coke and everything Gatorade mixed together all in one. Congratulations, young man, and only your third series start in Victory Lane. How's it feel? How did you do it?
It was just an amazing day. You know, we came here and we struggled. You know, a lot of stuff happened, but we just stuck with it throughout the race. Every pit stop, you know, we just picked up, and at the end, we had the car to beat. You know, it was just awesome.
Indeed it was. He is an awesome kid, no doubt about it, with a whole lot of talent, gentlemen. Kyle Krisiloff in Victory Lane.
And his dad here to see it. That's great. Kyle Krisiloff, TJ Bell, Christy Passmore, Brent Sherman, Chris Moore, your top five. As you look at the rest of the way back, Billy Venturini ends up
Great
sixth.
run for Billy.
Yep. Michael Simcoe, AJ Fife, Chevy White, Jennifer Cobb. She's in 10th. For Dan Partis, Kent Stout, Don Radebaugh, I'm Ralph Sheen. So long. Congratulations, Kyle Krisiloff, on your first ARCA RE/MAX Series win. So long, everybody.